Hi everyone, this is Rachel from StudioUs with another at-home drawing tutorial for you guys. Today we're taking on this adorable little Chihuahua puppy and we're going to color him in with chalk pastels. So go ahead and get your supplies and we'll get ready. You'll need a blank piece of paper as well as a drawing pencil, a Sharpie marker, and a large eraser to clean off all your pencil lines once we're done drawing. To start out, I'm going to mark out my center. So looking horizontally and vertically to get an idea of the center of the page. And right along that horizontal center line is where the bottom of our head is going to be. So I'm going to use that as my first guide and then kind of guesstimate where I want my top, bottom, and sides to be from there. Once we've got those marked out, we can draw it in. Notice that the bottom is a little narrower than the top. After that, we can add in our ears. So we're going to mark where it starts, where it ends, and looking at the angle it comes out of the head, how far out it goes. From there we can draw it in. They kind of flare out and then wrap around to make a point. Same thing on the other side. We'll mark where it starts, where it ends, look at the angle it comes out of the head, mark out where we want it, and then draw it in. Next, we're going to add the Chihuahua's body. It looks a teeny tiny bit like a bowling pin right now, but don't worry, it's going to turn out really cute. So I mark where it starts, where it ends, and the bottom. And then I sketch it in, making sure to get that little flare coming down from its neck, and then widening out for the shoulders, and then narrowing down for the bottom of his body. We'll get the inside edges of his ears to kind of wrap around. Mark out those nice cute pink areas for the insides of the ears. And we'll get the back legs. These are just short little curves. They come up maybe about a third of the way up the body and wrap around. Try to make sure they're about the same height. I noticed one of mine is a little bit shorter, so I'm going to adjust that. They should be pretty close to the same size. After that, we can get the little patch for his nose and mouth. The snout, if you will. Little detail patch on the dog's chest. And just starting from the very top of the nose and going up, we're going to sketch in those eyes. Notice that they fit right between the snout and the ears. After that, we can add some paws. The front paws are a little bigger, and the back paws are a little bit smaller. And they overlap just a little bit of the bottom of the Chihuahua's body. We'll clean out any extra lines overlapping so we just have the paws left. And we're adding in some really cute details now. We've got his little nose. Patch coming up on his face for that fur detail. And a couple little shiny bits in the eyes to make him look nice and alert. Little tail coming out from the left leg. And we'll get 3 little lines in each paw. Finishing up some details on the face, we'll give our Chihuahua a mouth and a couple little lines around the eyes, just to make those little eyelid details. Makes them look super cute too. And after that, we'll add in the background. So we've got our baseline For the ground that the Chihuahua is sitting on, that's going to come right out of the paws and extend out to either side of the paper. And then we've got the top of this wall, which is a little bit wobbly. Not a perfectly straight line, we want a few little bumps in there. And we're going to give our Chihuahua a little plant friend to sit next to. So sketching in those leaves, we get one leaf tipping off to the left, and then another leaf tipping off to the right, and a little taller as we work our way up. And they start pointing more up to the center as we finish up our plant. So that's a good looking Chihuahua. I hope yours is turning out great too. We can go ahead and get our Sharpie marker and go over all of our pencil lines. Once you've got all your Sharpie done, grab an eraser, clear off all the pencil lines underneath your Sharpie lines, go over everything, and we'll get started coloring. So we're going to use chalk pastels for our Chihuahua. I'm going to start with a light blue, outline the top of my sky, I go around all my edges, and then very, very lightly I'm going to fill in the rest of that sky. If you get a little bit of dust, careful not to wipe it off with your hand. You just want to blow it away. Once we've got it filled in, take a clean finger and blend it in. After that, we'll take some white, add a little bit of white up at the top of the sky to make it a little bit lighter. And I'm just going to run my finger over that one time. Next, I'm going to use my yellowy brown to color in all of the color on the back wall for our Chihuahua. Careful to go around all of my edges, and then I'll fill it in. Alright, once we've got that all filled in, go ahead and blend that in with your finger. Again, being very careful around your edges. I'm going to take a light tan color and pretty thick I'm going to apply that across the top, and then lighter I'm going to fill in the rest of the bottom area. So we'll create the highlight on the top of the wall and then set up our tan color for the ground. So blocking in my edges and then filling it in. Once I've got that in, I can go ahead and blend in. So I'm going to use one touch and just swipe across the top there. And then I'll blend in my tan along the bottom. I'm going to take my red brown and just lightly apply a little bit of a darker brown color to create that shadow at the bottom of the wall. I'm not creating an even line, just kind of letting it zigzag to make it look like the wall's a little rough, made out of something natural. Once we've got that in, go ahead and blend in all of that red brown so that it mixes into the yellowy brown underneath it and creates a nice soft shadow. I'm really careful to blend along my edges, that way those two colors mix together and create a nice gradient. Go ahead and finish up our ground as well. Very, very lightly, I'm going to take a dark brown and apply it anywhere I see that shadow, up on the top half of our tan section on the ground. And I blend it in nice and smooth. And we've got our background just about done. I'm going to go ahead and take a light green and color in my plant. Give it a little blend to smooth everything out. We can take a dark green and using just the corner of the pastel, get some of those dark green edges for the shadows on our plant. Tiny little tap to blend those in. And then using a white, I'm going to add my highlights on those top edges of the plant. I'm going to take a coral pink and color in the ears on my Chihuahua. Give those a little blend, make sure your finger's clean. After that, I'll take a tan. I'm going to go ahead and color all of the Chihuahua's body. So we've got some areas that are a little darker and we've got highlights that are a little lighter, but we will add those in by layering the chalk pastels over this tan base. So I've got all of the Chihuahua skin filled in. I'm going to blend that in very carefully. Next, I'll switch back to my dark brown and very, very lightly, I'm going to add in the dark spots on the Chihuahua's body. So that's the little spot on the face, the spot on his chest, and the spot on his nose. Taking a white, I'm going to add in the highlights. So anywhere that's bright white on that Chihuahua, I'm going to take some time, really wiggle that chalk pastel on there and build up a nice bright white line. And then switching back to that yellow brown that we used for the background wall, I'm going to add in some of the shadows on top of any of the tan areas. We can get the coral as well. And anywhere we see him on the dog, we can also use these to get his little feet. We'll blend those in just very lightly. And to finish things up, I'm going to take dark brown and really thoroughly color in the nose and the eyes. I'm going to leave my white spot white. We'll skip the little black dot in there. I think his eyes are dark enough. And we've got our Chihuahua. Hope you guys had fun, and we'll see you next time.